So you had positions. So if you're in a class of 30 students और 30 बच्चे हैं क्लास में, तो जो पहले 10 स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं वो बहुत अच्छे होते हैं, जो 5 होते हैं वो तो बहुत ही अमेजिंग होते हैं, और जो पहले 3 होते हैं वो तो भाई मतलब उनकी तो कोई मिसाल ही नहीं। और आप इमेजिन करें कि एक क्लास नहीं होती थी, 7th ग्रेड है तो उसमें H तक सेक्शन होते थे, एंड जो J सेक्शन होता था उसमें सारे लोअर क्लास को डाला जाता था, एंड आई वाज इन H। एंड सारा वक्त ये खौफ होता था कि अगर 10th से ऊपर ना आए या 10th पे ना आए तो then I'm not a good person, then I'm not smart. That made me feel that with the bullying and everything, I need to start being a good boy. I need to get good grades. So मैं perfection की तरफ जाना चला गया, मैं extra पढ़ना शुरू हो गया, I started getting really good grades, and पर्सनल उधर ही था, बच्चे वैसे ही थे, चीजें वही सब कुछ चल रही थी। When I went to NCA, I luckily got into the dramatic society. I was somebody who was always interested in drama. I became the director, and like everything in my life, I researched to the nth degree कि अच्छा play कैसे बनाया जाता है। You know, you need good actors, you need a brilliant प्रोडक्शन डिजाइन, आपका सेट बहुत अच्छा लगना चाहिए, आपके कॉस्ट्यूम बहुत अच्छे लगने चाहिए, आपकी लाइट परफेक्ट होनी चाहिए, उसमें 4 जोक्स होंगे, 5 सैड बातें होंगी, 6 ये होगा, एंड यू सॉर्टेड। I made my team rehearse from morning till night, with constantly rehearsing. I was like, I have it in the bag. So how it works in NCA is there's more competition. So you don't have one society. I think you guys also have multiple societies. You have a mind society, music society, then you have 3-4 different drama societies. So उनका अपना कंपटीशन होता है in our western and eastern festivals, और उसमें फिर अवार्ड्स दिए जाते हैं कि बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस क्या है और वर्स्ट परफॉर्मेंस क्या है। I was like, I'm sorted, goody goody two shoes Hashim Ali with all his 80% marks on everything, he is sorted. We get on stage, we have the most amazing setup that we could think of on the tiny budget that the school gave us, and after 2 minutes we were booed off stage multiple times. 20 students who were my responsibility were booed off stage with things that are very common in the NCA culture, which I will never say here, but they kept on saying it again and again and again, and people got up and turned around and started clapping away from the crowd. I was so embarrassed. I did not go to school or college for 2 days after that, because I said I have not only failed myself, but I have failed these kids who were my class fellows as well, and what have I done? So I said that before I do the next play, which I'm supposed to do next term, I'll try something else. I got an opportunity to work with these producers, बच्चे थे LGS के, उस time पे, if you guys remember, if any of you remember, शाशरा भी plays करवाता था बहुत ज़्यादा, Lahore was buzzing with Alhambra, theatre हो रहा था आपका बहुत ज़्यादा, तो बहुत सारे plays from LGS and JP, माँ बाप का पैसा होता, they became producers and they used to stage plays. तो usually हम लोग की tickets नहीं मिलती थी, but crowd used to come. So I got an opportunity to do one of them. I picked up my favorite film. I said, let's go play on that. It's my favorite film. Now I'll put emotion into it. I'll get a bigger cast. We'll do a better thing. So let me just clear everything from my history and start all over again. And we did it. We had music, we had dance, we had a revolving set that was being planned. Everything was, I was a terrible director. Like, you know, I read somewhere, you have to stay away from your team, don't get too personal, make them work. You know, I was like, I was all there. Just a week before the play, the producers bailed out. They said, we can't do it, we don't have the finances. The entire play was based on a set which was revolving, because if it's a movie, you need to change the sets very quickly. We had no other option. And now I did not only have those 20 kids that I disappointed before, but I have these 30 unknown people that are looking at me and saying, what do we do now? So I go to the producers, they stop picking my calls. One of them, a very nice girl, she's like, let me figure something out. She pulled some strings, got a bit of money, and she's like, we'll do the play, you cannot have your set. So we had people who were singing on stage with no set, nothing was making sense. And now I not only was a disappointment to my college, but also to a big part of Lahore. And I was like, I simply cannot do this. What did I do wrong? Where am I going wrong here? I'm trying everything. Why does this keep on happening? So the only thing I could think of, not for me. I can't do this. I'm going to go back to my studies. I'm going to do good at that, and we'll see what we do. I graduate MCA. I get a very nice 9-to-5 job like all good Pakistani boys are supposed to get, which pays you nicely. I was doing that. I was not doing any projects on the side. Chota mota kuch aage, if I could figure it out, I'll do it. Otherwise, I was like, no. I'll be that boy who works in an MNC or somewhere up there and acha kama raha hai aur ye cheezein chalti rahi, ye mazak hota hai, this is a sideline thing. But dil to dil hota hai na, you can't lie to it, right? And I'd already cleared that slate many times. That white paper I'm telling you guys, I'd cleared it many times. Then something really interesting happened. One of my friends from NCA, she was working with a director, very, very famous director, and he was starting his film. So she said, why don't you come and work on this film and do costume design for that? I was like, I am on a 9-to-5 job. I simply cannot do this. And then somebody gave me the best advice of my career. I've never met that person again, by the way. He was a CSS officer. He was writing the film. And he said to me, Dil cha raha hai? मैंने कहा बहुत. He said, कर लो, आगे देखी जाएगी. I was like, but 9-to-5. He said, just stop. You don't even know कि तुम यहाँ से बाहर निकलोगे and you'll be dead. Who knows? So कर लो, आगे देखी जाएगी. Say yes. And I did. And then I don't know how I did it. I don't know what happened. I don't know किस तरह मैं ऑफिस में सुबह की छुट्टी लेके, सिक लीव लेके, कैजुअल लीव लेके, रातों को लगा के एक फिल्म 40 days में कंप्लीट की. And it was not only the worst film to come out of Pakistan, it was also considered to be the worst flop film of Pakistan. But I tell you something which changed. I was proud of it. I still am proud of it. Why? Because I did it for myself. I did it not because I wanted other people to be happy. I did it because I wanted to do it. Because what that person said. Because what that CSS officer, who was also a writer, said to me was, "Kar lo, dil ki suno aur kar lo, aage dekhi jayegi." So I said that something that I did here was right. Honestly, the people I met on that film are still my friends. The director to this day is one of those people that if he calls me right now, I leave everything and do a project for him. Because we did not only just make a movie that didn't work for the public, but we created relationships. We created art. We respected each other. We respected each other's time. So उस चीज ने मेरे में ये चीज डाली कि this blank piece of paper that I'm so scared of. If any of you is a writer here, how many of you are writers here? How many of you draw? How many of you, I don't know, got your house painted recently? You know, every time you want to start anew, that blank thing is scary. Because we feel कि सब जो लिखेंगे ना वो गलत ना हो जाए. हमें ये fear होता है कि हम इस चीज को करेंगे तो ये fail कर जाएंगे इसके अंदर. But the funny thing is, this blank piece of paper is actually a failure on its own because there's nothing on it. It's blank. So even if you put a dot on it, you're actually adding something to it. It cannot fail. It's already moved one step ahead. So that's how we are as human beings. So each time we write something in our lives, we're moving forward, not backwards. The worst thing we can do to ourselves, ये drawing में technique होती है. So they say that if you're learning drawing, you should never use an eraser. You should always draw and keep on drawing. अगर आप गलत लाइन ड्रॉ करोगे और उसको मिटा दोगे, आपको क्या पता वो लाइन कहाँ थी? आपने उसको मिटा दिया, दोबारा गलत बनाओगे, फिर आप उसको मिटाओगे, फिर आप दोबारा गलत बनाओगे. बट अगर आपने गलत लाइन लगाई है और उसके बाद आपने दूसरी लाइन लगाई है, तो आपको पता है गलत थी तो ये सही लगी है. You have something to fall back on to realize आप गलत क्या कर रहे थे. So this blank piece of canvas, which is our heart, which is our life, we should be proud of all the lines we put on it, all the rips that we put on it, all the things where we go wrong. We should do that. Now, they mentioned Coke Studio Season 14. Some of you might have heard Pasuri, some of you might have heard these songs. Visually, we're getting all of these praises for it. Pata nahi humne kya kar diya. If I tell you that song was the song which everybody, the visuality of that song, the visual language of that song, we were all very unsure of. Because we were like, pata nahi chalega kya nahi chalega, pata nahi log kya kahenge. From the director to the costumes, that everybody was like, pata nahi cheez kaisa iska response aayega. But we all said, देखी जाएगी. Dil keh raha hai na, karo. We want this. We want it to have no boundaries. We want it to be something where people are just coming in and they're happy and they are who they are, and it doesn't really matter because that's what we all want. So my little thing to you guys is that treat it's a thing we've all heard about. We've read Tumblr, we've gone through Instagram, we've seen all those inspirational quotes that every day is a new page in your life. Every chapter is new, it's yours to write. Write it, but do not remove everything from it. And anytime you want to talk about success, talk about all those failures. Be proud of them. Somebody asked me recently that if you could change something in your life, what would you change? And I said, nothing. Nothing. I will not change all the people who were mean to me growing up. I will not change all the projects which I failed on. I will not change the gala ad that I did. I will not change any of these things. Why? Because each time I did something which I did not want to erase, it became a part of me and I learned something from it, positive or negative. And lastly, there's a thing that I read somewhere which I would want to end on, that it's a quotation by Rumi, and he said that treat your house like a house, treat your heart like a guest house. Every person, treat them as a guest house. Every instance, treat it as a guest in your guest house. Because every person who's coming in your life is either taking something from it, giving you something in return, teaching you something, or learning something from you. So treat each other with love and teach all your experience with love. And please, take that blank piece of paper and write on it, scribble on it, make it your journal, and when you die, show it to the world and say, I lived, I breathed, I failed, and I succeeded.